Hi everyone, I am Reaper the Inkling. Welcome back to another reaction for you guys today. I'm going to do everything's wrong with our videos, Villager News 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is made by Element Animations. I actually did see the first one. I didn't see any mistakes they made because, I was really enjoying the animation. So let's take a look because I actually did see how they actually made it. So let's go. Right. See what kind of mistakes they made.
It's 2013, and Minecraft is exploding in popularity all around the world.
True.
Villager News 1 has just been released, and everyone is screaming at us, demanding more!
Yeah.
Please, may we have another one, kind sir?
Aww.
Everywhere we went, people were asking about Villager News. Aren't you going to ask about Villager News? No. With all this new pressure placed upon us by our audience.
Oh, yeah.
No, you take all the time you need. No pressure.
With this new pressure placed upon us by ourselves,
Wow.
we decided it was time to make a sequel.
Yay.
And of course, when making an animation for YouTube, you have to get it done fast. And that leads to some mistakes. So let's find out.
I know. Yep, it's really
this time,
true.
It's Villager News 2,
2,
3,
3,
and 4. We've got a few this time.
Yep.
Thank you very much to everybody who watched and commented on the last
Ooh.
video. A few of you mentioned that you wouldn't have ever noticed the problems that we found.
I
And that's a
never
good thing.
noticed
It means that they didn't get in the way of the story. But it's still fun to try and find them. Aha!
Right.
I found a technical issue. What? I'm not a technical. Just like last time, I'm not going to be commenting on the animation style choices because that has evolved over time. But on that subject,
the giant
we did
creeper.
get rid of the pixely faces.
Alright.
Oh no, my pixels! It's almost like people didn't like them. But anyway, let's jump into the first video.
Right, here we go. Alright, Villager News 2. Villager News.
Villager News 2 revolves around this UFO wreaking havoc in the background.
Yeah, turns
And also
out it's
a
actually
SWAT
made
team
out of
raided the house
villagers.
because a villager forgot to stamp their library book.
Your book has been stamped. Thank you.
All this
Okay,
for...
the first one isn't really anything wrong, but
Okay.
it gets an honourable mention. This sound effect is a fart.
One.
Ew.
I didn't even notice
the first
that.
real one. The Villager News Studio gets a big window in this one, where you can see all the way back to the lack of a horizon. The outside world just ends here. In the last video, we talked about how we used trees to block out the view.
Yeah.
It looks like we tried here, but we missed a spot.
I'd like to see.
This shot had to be completely reanimated from scratch on the very last night. So a lot of the animation is super basic to save time. Like, check out how this guy just zips from one side of the screen to the other. This actually looks kind of like the animation in Layout on our newer videos. Layout is where you bring in all the characters and props and to get everything ready to be animated.
I
Speaking of
never
animation
noticed that
problems,
too.
Later on, we have this huge catapult made of villagers firing at the UFO there.
Yep.
So this one villager gets yeeted at the UFO, but if we go through frame by frame, he just sort of stops in midair.
Oh, I didn't
But then
notice
some more
that.
janky physics takes over. He bounces off the UFO, does a little flip, and then he speeds up. Like, I'm no scientist, but I don't think you can just gain momentum like that.
I never
So a few
noticed
seconds
that
later,
too.
the UFO is doing its thing, sucking up all the villagers. It gets to this guy, it wipes out the glass, and then it moves over to this guy. Villager number 4 just carries on reading the news, and we assume the UFO has gone to suck up more things. But it didn't. The shadow is right here. It just kind of stays there, hanging about.
Oh, I didn't notice
That
that.
happened because when you're animating and a character or an object goes off screen, you just stop animating it. There is no point in animating something that you're not going to see. So good job you can't see it too, because some really weird stuff can happen off screen. And while this is super efficient, we don't always get to see where the shadows fall until way after the animation is finished. And if we don't notice it, we end up with problems like this.
Glenn, a rocket with our best and brightest.
Did you see it?
No,
Yes?
I didn't. I
Let's go
didn't
back.
see it.
So we're looking at this guy.
Okay.
So in the file, he runs past the camera, and once he's off screen, he just starts running on the spot. And that's fine, but in the video, the shadows give it away.
Oh.
Look at that. It's 2021 and we're still making these mistakes. Years later. And it's not just when characters go off screen that we stop animating.
Okay.
Sometimes entire body parts aren't animated.
What?
Like, if you can't see them, what's the point?
What are you talking about? This is fine.
Oh.
Thank you, villager.
That's
So here, the
creepy.
SWAT villagers break into this house.
Okay.
And as the camera goes through the door, you notice it's massive inside, like huge.
Yeah.
We were toying with the idea of the villager houses being sort of like the ones in old school RPGs, you know, like bigger when you're
It's
inside.
kind of like
that's a
Doctor Who,
cool
like
idea,
when you're
we never
inside the
really
TARDIS,
expanded on
like,
it after
woo,
this.
the whole area is big.
So to do this, we just had two different sets, an outside and an inside. And then we just used a hidden cut to switch between them as the camera gets to the door. There it is. But you can see that inside there's all these lights. Whereas a few seconds ago, before we get into the door, you
There's
can
no-
clearly see through the window that it's just a small house
Yeah, it's
interior.
just a small house
So-
inside. Yep, problem
Ah,
6.
This is literally unwatchable.
Ask David Tennant.
I've got.
This villager is floating.
Oh, didn't notice that.
So you remember those motion blur issues in Villager News 1?
Yeah, what is
Well,
it?
this one has tons.
I never seen it.
As the Tom Cruise villager rappels down, we can
Okay.
see that there's actually nothing outside the windows. It's just white.
I didn't
Then,
notice
as
that.
Tom
I
Cruise
thought it was
stamps
too
the
bright.
boat, his rope suddenly becomes a pole stuck to his back.
Oh, I didn't notice that either.
Ah, no.
You may have noticed that the window here isn't standard Minecraft glass. We changed it because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see anything going on in the background. If you've ever
Oh,
used the
this-
Optifine plugin in the game, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
That in itself isn't the problem. It's
I-
the fact that we were so inconsistent with it. We didn't do it here, we
Uh-huh.
didn't do it there, and the worst one of all of them is this one, right next to it.
I didn't even
That's
notice
it.
that.
We're done.
So that brings the
Okay.
Villager News 2 count to...
Whoa!
Ooh, that's going to be a
24!
tough one to beat. But let's give it a go.
Right.
The villager news.
Villager News 3. An innocent villager is making himself some toast
Yep.
when all of a sudden he's surrounded and accused of kidnapping another villager.
Release the hostages. I
What?
just want to make toast.
We actually couldn't find that many technical issues with this one.
Yeah.
I'm a hostage too.
But let's see what we did find.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm trapped.
What do you guys found?
Right at the beginning, the sign says Villager News 3. It's the
Alright.
only video to actually have a number after Villager News. So that's
Oh.
a ding for inconsistency.
Didn't notice that.
Here, there's a villager watching the news report on the TV. But if we go through frame by frame, the screen changes size as it settles into place.
No way!
This is because the screen isn't really there. It's put in afterwards in post, and it looks like the tracking wasn't great.
What?
Ah.
No.
So what can we do?
In this shot, there's a light
Uh-huh.
directly above this villager's head, so when he moves, he's just going in and out of dark and light. So this isn't really a technical issue, but it is bad lighting.
Okay.
How about this?
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
Yay.
Okay.
Make toast.
We also found a couple of texture issues. Look at the
Alright.
texture on that megaphone. It looks all
Yeah.
blurry. Minecraft
Oh,
textures
didn't
are
even
super
know
small.
that.
They're usually only 16 pixels wide. And when you stretch that over an object, a lot of 3D software likes to smooth it out and get rid of that pixely look. But we want it pixely. That's what makes Minecraft Minecraft.
Yeah.
So you have to tell the software not to do that. Here's what our videos would be like if we didn't do that.
I hate it. Switch it back.
Oh my
Go,
god.
Go, go.
That's terrifying.
Here, the texture on the villagers' helmets is all stretched.
Oh, I didn't
And
notice.
I don't really know why.
I
It
have
looks
no
like a UV
idea.
Issue, but
I
in
did
the file,
actually-
they render just fine. Sometimes things
Yeah,
just go
just-
wrong.
they're
and
all
there's
fine
no
to me.
explanation for it. And this video has its own share of motion blur glitches.
Of course. And
That brings the Villager News 3 total to...
14.
Not bad. I bet there's more that we missed though, so let us know if you find it.
Alright, number 4. I bet is
And
the
finally,
D-Day.
Villager News 4. The villagers are sent into battle with the testificates in
Yes.
a D-Day style attack.
Yeah.
So this video was actually animated before Villager News 3, but it was left unfinished for about a year. If you
Oh.
watch them both, you might be able to see that number 3's animation and lighting are a little bit better. Okay, so
Okay.
our first problem is right here.
Well, what's with the
Yay.
boat?
I am now a boat. Yay.
What's with the
Let's
boat?
go.
All right, let's slow that all the way down.
Okay.
So when the camera whips over to the right, you can see this villager here is actually two villagers inside each other.
Oh, didn't,
Also, the motion blur is an
oh.
issue, but we'll leave that for the inevitable
Didn't see
barrage
that
of dings
coming.
at the end. You know it's going to happen. So, Villager News 4 has really janky physics all around because
I can't
the bullets
tell who's
fired from the
dying
guns
or
are
surviving.
simulated dynamic objects. And that means
Yeah,
you can
so
just
many
fling them
villagers.
around, smash things into them, or even make a bowl of nice, tasty villager soup.
Or cereal.
And the simulations are rarely perfect. Over here, we have one of those dynamic villagers getting nudged by a villager running
I
past.
did see that
you
one.
think he's safe, but then this guy comes along and just blasts through him as if he weighs nothing.
I
Also,
did
this
see-
villager is floating.
Oh, I didn't see that too. I actually did see the nudging
What
bit,
are you
but
doing
I think
here?
that's it.
This is not your
It's how he
matter.
disappears.
He's right, it's not. That came later. But check out this villager on the floor here. He gets pushed right into the sand blocks, and then, poof,
It
he's just gone.
disappears.
Like, where did he go? So when physics messes up that bad, there's a couple of places he could be. Now, either he just got pushed through the block and ended up under the world, or he got yeeted 50 miles in a random direction.
Wow.
Tank.
This guy just disappears.
What? Oh, of course.
This shot is probably the worst of them all when it comes to physics and motion blur problems. It's just a mess. So there's an explosion from the tank throwing all these villagers in the air. But as they all land, everything goes a bit crazy. Look at them all, glitching all over the place. It's hard to keep track of just one of them.
Oh, okay.
Okay, back on this shot. Watch this villager. He just wall runs up this block.
Oh, didn't notice
Now, when
it.
we animate crowds of villagers, we simulate them. Each one has its own animation, they can even have their own health system. That big battle in Villager News War was mostly simulated. But back in the olden days of Villager News 4, we had to do each one manually. So what we did was we drew out a path for where we wanted the villagers to run, and then attached them to it. But if the path made a right angle up a block, so did the villager.
That makes a lot of sense. Challenging to get up those stairs. Oh, yeah, the big bomb thing.
So this villager here is some kind of explosive.
Yeah,
Everyone
some kind of like
runs
a
away
grenade.
And boom! There it goes. But look, he's still there. Someone forgot to make him invisible after the explosion.
That's me!
Okay, yeah, it was me. Oops. And finally, we can't finish one of these without pointing out all the motion blur issues.
Alright, how much?
So the Villager News 4 total comes to...
It's 32!
Yeah, that one had a lot of problems. Of course, there will be more issues there that we missed, so if you spot them, please let us know in the comments. You guys found some last time. In Villager News 1, this guy running along was floating the entire time. Nice spot, Kassam Saturn boys.
I didn't say that. Congratulations.
Well, that's the name. Zoopy Goopert noticed this weird shading on the arms here. I'll have to figure out why it did that. I have no idea. Again, nice spot. And a bunch of you noticed that in the video talking about the mistakes, there was a mistake. Transparent is spelled wrong. We do notice some of the issues on our videos before we release them, but for a lot of them, you have to weigh out whether fixing them is worth the time or the money. And being an animation studio on YouTube isn't exactly lucrative. We're a small team of people, but this is our full-time job. And YouTube revenue is rough at the best of times.
You take how much from us? 30%. That seems a bit high. 35%.
Oh.
That's ridiculous. 40.
Okay.
45.
So that's why we rely on you guys over on Patreon. Becoming a patron helps us out immensely. Like, these amazing people here are responsible for the videos we've been able to make recently. I'd also like to give a little shout out to our ultimate patrons, the Wolf and Horton clan, and Destructo Dino 142. All of these guys are the backbone of our content, and if you want to join them, you can get some really cool element stuff when we release it. And if you watched up to this part, thank you very much, and that's it for this edition of Everything Wrong with Our Videos. Let us know what video you want us to cover next.
Explaining things. We are explaining things.
Right, well that was pretty cool. I think like Villager News is 4 actually was the winner. I think the thing that like let me think. There we go. I think like sorry about that. Anyway guys, I think the Villager News is 4 is actually like the best mistakes hiding ever. Do you want to know why? Because there's so many villagers all over the place. I can't even see. All I see is just villagers. You know, villagers shooting out machine guns, tanks, bombs, like everything. Everything is just villagers. I can't even tell who died, wounded, or got their heads exploded with the bombs in the heads from the suicide squad. Everything is madness. Anyway guys, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed this reaction video. Comment down below what video you want me to write next. Subscribe to me, subscribe to Element Animations, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.